All right, we're going to go live. הנה מה טוב מה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב מה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. Shiru l'Adonai, Shiru l'Adonai, Shiru l'Adonai, Shiru, Shiru l'Adonai. I welcome all of you, our virtual Shabbat community, for this evening. We continue at the top of page 2 of our Shabbat at Home booklets. These Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them. So may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light. So may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hashem kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shel Shabbat, blessed are you who commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hashem kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you who commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. We continue at the bottom of page 2. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. At the top of page 3, we welcome the Sabbath bride with the words of Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala hinei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala hinei Shabbat nekabela. Shalom v'zachor v'diborecha ishmi'anu el ha-miluchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad Shabbat lechuvenecha ki mekor haberacha meirosh mikedem nesucha so מעשה במחשבה תחילה וחלוני לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לחלוני לקראת קלה פני שבת התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי 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 שידברי כלו אדוני אליי נגלה לכדודי לקראת קלה שבת לקבלה לכדותי לקראת קלה פני שבת לקבלה בואי לשלום עצרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לכדודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לכדודי Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There's no place on earth without the presence. Yitkada v'yitkada shmei Rabbah B'yalmad yivrach irutei v'yamlich machutei B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayid echol beit Yisrael B'gala uv'yismahan kariv v'yimeru Amen Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam u'lal me'an maya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitatar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei dekudsha b'richu le'la min kol brachata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran b'yama v'imeru Amen. And we rise together for our call to prayer at the top of page 4. As the day becomes night, the velvet cloak of darkness descends, enveloping us in its warmth. We snuggle into its folds, eyes closed, breathing deeply. We feel at peace. We feel the cares and worries of the day fall away, leaving quiet contentment, serenity. Roll into dark in the middle of page 4. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. For day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. We continue at the top of page 6. In each age we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment, we are addressed by the world. In each age, we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment, we stand face to face with truth. In each age, we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment, the knowing heart is filled with wonder. In each age, the children of Torah become its builders and seek to set the world firm on a foundation of truth. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people, Israel. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto, Leolam Baed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto, Leolam Baed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Let us be seated as we join together in the words of Ahavath at the top of page 7. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. We continue responsively at the top of page 8. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all. Yet that oneness eludes our grasp as imperfections and evil abound. Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness. There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul. When will redemption come? When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves? Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High. We learned God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom. As we turn to page 9, we find Hashkivenu, our prayer for the evening, asking God for protection and safety. Our song will begin with the second line of Hebrew, Ushmor tseitenu uvoenu, l'chayim u'l'shalom me'ata va'ad olam. Guard our coming and going to life and to peace evermore. Ushmor tzeitenu uvoenu, l'chayim u'l'shalom מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני, אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם. ושמור צאתנו, ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום, מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני, אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, מעתה ועד עולם, 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 מעתה ועד עולם. At the top of page 11, we find the words, V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. Lasot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם, ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת שבת ויהי נפש, שבת שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי At the top of page 12, you'll find our meditation in preparation for the Amidah. We'll recite that, we'll sing together, and then we'll rise. You are blessed and you are holy. You are blessed and you are praised. You are blessed and you are faithful to the ones who praise your name. You are kind and you are healing. You are cleansing of my soul. You are loved and pure and gracious. You are real and make me whole. Adonai Satai Tiftach, Ufi Hakite Hilatecha. Open my lips for your praises, they'll show through your graces. Open up my lips. Open up my lips. You are wise and you are sparing. You are merciful and clear. You are utter perfection, no more wrong directions. I'm loved and I am here. Adonai Satai Tiftach, Ufi Hakite Ilatecha. Open my lips for your praises, they'll show through your graces. Open up my lips. Adonai Satai Tiftach, Ufi Hakite Ilatecha. Open my lips for your praises, they'll show through your graces. Open up my lips. Open up my lips. Open up my lips. Let us rise. Adonai Sifatai Tiftachu Fi Agite Hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'Konei Hakol, Ve'Zocher Chastei Havot ve'Imahot, U'Mevii Geula Livnei V'neihem Le'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atarav lehoshia. Morid hatal, Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim v'rofei cholim, U'matir asurim, U'mekayem emunato, Lishenei hafar, Mi chamocha ba'al gevurot, U'mido melech, Melech memit u'mechayeh, U'mahatzmiach Yeshua, V'neman atah lachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom yahallelu Selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated as we join together at the top of page 14. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. And may all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu ba'amcha Yisrael, utfilatam be'ahava tekabel, utilu ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Ever present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai she'otcha levadcha b'yir'ah na'avod. Modim anachnu lach, for the good in us, which calls us to a better life, we give thanks. For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and our hands, we offer praise. For the desire in us which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful. For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for the hope of tomorrow, all praise to the source of being. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Yadam Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Yadam Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'einecha livolech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. We take a moment now for our own silent prayers. Yehud ratzon imrei fi. Yehud ratzon imrei fi. V'hen yod libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri v'goli. עושה שלום, עושה שלום עם רומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו, אמן. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day God ceased from work and was refreshed. Once the concept of Shabbat is introduced in the Torah, the law is restated time and again, lest the Israelites forget their brit, their covenant with God. To this day, we recite these words from Exodus chapter 31 each week, as we did earlier in our service. It turns out that much of Judaism is based on the number 7. The 7th day of the week is holy, Shabbat. And the 7th month of the year is especially holy, Tishrei, which is when Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot occur. This week's Torah portion, Bahar Sinai, introduces the concept of a Shabbat of years, the Shemitah, a Shabbat for the land. God instructs Moses to speak to the Israelite people and say to them, "When you enter the land that I assign to you, the land shall observe a Sabbath of the Lord. 6 years you may sow your field, and 6 years you may prune your vineyard and gather in the yield. But in the 7th year, the land shall have a Sabbath of complete rest. You shall not sow your field or prune your vineyard." The practice of crop rotation is recorded as early as 6,000 BCE. When ancient Middle Eastern farmers, without understanding the science of it, would alternate between planting legumes and cereals. But the idea of Shemitah, of giving the land an opportunity to recover from the constant tilling and harvesting, reaped even more benefits. Please forgive the pun. Fallowing the soil, leaving it in peace, can cause potassium and phosphorus from deep below to rise toward the soil's surface, where it can be used by crops later. It also raises levels of carbon, nitrogen, and organic matter, improves moisture holding capacity, and increases beneficial microorganisms in the soil. Studies have shown that a field that has been allowed to lie fallow for just a year produces a higher crop yield when it is planted again. Now, anyone who knows me well can tell you that I have the opposite of a green thumb, that if you want a surefire way to kill a plant, you should just gift it to me, and that none of the information I just gave you is from firsthand knowledge or experience. That being said, I've always been drawn to the idea of Shemitah, and against the backdrop of climate change, wondered what the developed world would look like if humanity could take a break. Lo and behold, one unintended byproduct of the pandemic is that we find ourselves able to observe what happens when humans do indeed take a break. I'm sure many of you have seen the photo images coming in from all over the world, as millions of people stay home and halt outdoor activities. Wild animals are taking advantage of the peace and quiet to reclaim natural spaces and roam empty cities. From coyotes and black bears in California's Yosemite National Park to wild boars on the streets of Israel, wild animals are reemerging from their hiding spots, reclaiming natural spaces and exploring their environs. Lions have been photographed napping in the streets of South Africa's Kruger National Park, and there's fantastic footage of wild goats meandering around a Welsh town like they own the place. The drop in tourism has also been a source of decline of ocean traffic. Late April generally marks the beginning of the cruise ship season in Southeast Alaska, with boats docking in Vancouver before heading to the 49th state. Michelle Fournet, a marine acoustician at Cornell University who studies humpback whales in Southeast Alaska, is excited. She says, "We have a generation of humpback whales that have never known a quiet ocean. What we know about whales in Southeast Alaska is that when it gets noisy, they call less. And when boats go by, they call less. And this is an opportunity for whales to have more complex conversations, and for humans, an opportunity to listen to those conversations that will most likely not appear again in our lifetime." The global lockdown has also seen cities record drastic drops in pollution and air quality, though how this affects the long-term fight against climate change remains unclear. In a few months, demand for energy globally has fallen off a cliff. The International Energy Agency estimates that the world will use 6% less this year, the equivalent to losing the entire energy demand of India. California has seen a 40% decrease in its notorious smog, and China temporarily reduced its carbon dioxide emissions by at least a quarter. People in the northern Indian state of Punjab are reacting with awe at the sight of the Himalayan mountain range, which is now visible from more than 100 miles away due to the reduction in air pollution. Indians in the city of Jalandhar and the surrounding area have posted photos online of the views from their homes, with some saying they haven't seen the peaks of the Himalayas for 30 years. With close to 8 billion people living on this planet, we realize there are many challenges to reducing our carbon footprint. But the laws of Judaism and the principle behind Shemitah teach us this: human beings are only the stewards or managers of the land. It is therefore our responsibility to take care of God's gift to human beings and to make sure it is not abused and that it is allowed to replenish itself. In that sense, the land is like a human being. It too needs a Sabbath. It is my hope that getting this glimpse of the world at rest will encourage us to work toward finding more of a balance between nature and industry, that we will rise to the challenge of reimagining ourselves as the guardians of a world that does not belong to us, rather than just the consumers of all its yield, and that we continue to push our leaders to think creatively about how we can preserve the earth so that its gifts may be enjoyed for generations to come. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. Shabbat Shalom. We turn our attention now to those who are in need of healing. We pray for family, friends, members of this congregation, and for everyone who is injured or ill in body or in spirit. Some of us pray for ourselves. Others pray for those who are dearest to us. Give strength and purpose, unflagging energy, and deep wells of patience to all who seek healing, and to their caregivers, family, and friends. O God, gracious parent, hear our prayer and make our lives a blessing. Our congregation is especially thinking of Carol Babcock, Malcolm Bloom, Basha Goldstein Cantor, Shirley Cohen, Stuart Cohen, Tom Davis, Art Fields, Paul Friedman, Steve Friedman, Judy Greenhut, Josh Greenspan, Barbara Irving, Shirley Joseph, Susan Jacobs, Ben Jacobson, Judy Jacobson, Robert Kay, Marilyn Levitt, Suzanne Lovejoy, Barbara McDonald, Laura Osofsky, James Penson, Robert Powell, Randall Rout, Marlene Rebb, Sandra Resnikoff, Alex Rosen, Alan Setzer, Ruthie Silver, Bernie Sims, Ram Temko, Bob Tews, Bernice Tobis, Susan Warrington-Wagman, Carla Weissman. We think, of course, of the millions of people affected by the coronavirus, those who are struggling to keep breathing, and our healthcare workers fighting to help them. If you have names to add this evening, please say them aloud now. For all of those whom we've named aloud and those we hold dear in our hearts, we join together in our Misha Berach on page 17. Misha Berach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. The bottom of page 18, we find Aleinu, and let us rise together.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. One of our members is observing the Shiva of Bill Lewis, and our congregation is observing a period of Shloshim for Susan Dennis, Lieutenant Colonel Edwin M. Joseph, Barbara Ellen Schoenthal, Margaret Lee Hill, and Barbara Palev. This Shabbat, we observe the yahrzeit of William Ash, Rose Avchin, Helen Benjamin, Gladys L. Backel, Harry Buchholz, Frida Chauser, Harry Krieger, Sidney Dickstein, Gustav Dobby, William Dorman, Betty Gray Drucker, Yvette Sylvia Edelman, Pearl Elenoff, Nathan Friedman, Lillian Gimple, Harry Canner, Sophia Katz, Sam Klein, Laura Bear Koppel, Harold Lewis, Hannah S. Lipsey, Harris Simon Lipsey, Earl Moss, Nathan A. Moss, Theodore Oberdorfer, Audrey Oppenheimer, Elise Bear Pollock, Lenore Rosen, David Rothstein, Irvin B. Rothstein, Ralph Schoenberg, Fanny Silverstein, Rhoda Sisitsky, Mamie Turitz, Rose Weinstock, Dr. Albert H. Wilkinson Sr., Sarah Zisser. We think as well of those who have lost their lives to the virus here and around the world. If you are thinking of someone that you have lost, I welcome you to say their name aloud now. For all of our loved ones whom we've named aloud and those we hold in our hearts, we rise together as a community to extol God's name with the words of the Mourner's Kaddish on page 20. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam ul'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithalev v'yithalal shmei dukudsha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Please be seated. Before our Kiddush this evening, I would like to remind everyone that we will be holding our annual congregational meeting on Tuesday, May 26th at 7 p.m. through the power of Zoom. Please look in your Temple Messenger and your other separate communications from Temple that provide instructions on how to access the meeting. It is very important that you participate in this first ever virtual congregational meeting as we present our budget for the coming year and the proposed board of trustees and officers for your approval. We will make a little Kiddush and motzi before our concluding song. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit Ki hu yom techilah lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim Ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodsecha Be'ahava uv'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We are going to conclude our service this evening at the top of page 21 with the words of Debbie Friedman's Tfilat Haderech. May this Shabbat replenish your strength and fill your soul. Thank you for joining. Shabbat Shalom.